A very warm good evening to all the history enthusiasts and wishing you all a very happy Ram Navami. We are here today with another e-lecture on the archaeological sites of Rami, and today we have with us our resource person, Shri T M Keshava sir. He is Superintending Archaeologist, Archaeological Survey of India, Bangalore Circle. Sir, we welcome you on behalf of myself, Nidhi, and all our audience.
Thank you.
We are so thankful to you for accepting this invitation and being present with us here today. Next, I also welcome my dear friend and the Vice President of the History Enthusiasts, Ms. Nidhi Katti. Welcome, Nidhi. I also welcome all our members of the audience who are always actively participating in all our academic endeavors. And today also, we hope for the same active participation. Welcome you all once again. I now request Ms. Nidhi Katti to please introduce our today's resource person briefly.
Thank you so much, Manali. And I take this privilege to invite President of the History Enthusiast, Miss Manali Momaya also. Uh,
Thank you.
and thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to introduce our today's resource person. Uh, Shri T M Keshava sir is retired Superintendent Archaeologist, Archaeological Survey of India, Bengaluru Circle. Uh, Sir's entry into ASI is a very interesting event. In 1979, as a technical assistant at Aurangabad and as an expert on Ajanta and Ellora caves, he joined. And he has conducted many important VVIPS and VIPS to the monuments of Aurangabad Circle. Particularly Ajanta, Ellora, Daulatabad, Elephanta, Karle, Bhaj, Raigad, etc. prominent archaeological sites of India. And of the High Commissioners of United Kingdom, Belgium, French President Mitterrand, Duke of Edinburgh, ambassadors of China, Korea, Bulgaria, central and state ministers, students of administrative service like IAS, IPS, IFS, and student from School of Archaeology. He was conducting atomic scientist Dr. Raja Raman was on memorable work in addition to conduct CHOGM dignitaries at Goa in 1983 to 84. He was also part of documentation of Raj Bhavan silver antiquities and furniture of 18th and 19th century during the period of Lieutenant Governor H.E. Satrawal. Was a unique experience which Sir went through, and in addition to this activity of Sir has the discovery of an unfinished Buddhist cave at Wadi near Peoplegaon in Aurangabad district, which is one of the greatest contribution which Sir has done for Buddhist studies. His education, coming to his educational qualifications, Sir has completed his graduation in BSc Natural Sciences, including chemistry, botany, and zoology. He has also completed his MA in Indology, which included ancient Indian history and archaeology. So he's a double graduate. He also completed his diploma in epigraphy, particularly which contained study of ancient script and inscriptions. Uh, Separately, he also did his post graduation on and diploma in archaeology. Uh, and it included prehistory, protohistory, art and architecture, conservation, exploration, excavation, etc. Elements in it. Sir is specialized in Hoysala art and architecture, Vijayanagara art and architecture, and Badami Kalyani Chalukyan art and architecture, and Rashtrakutas art and architecture. Sir has been in multiple higher positions in ASI and in other committees also. and he has been actively participated in multiple archaeological excavations and has presented multiple papers, research papers in national, international conferences, and has taught many students. And today it's our privilege to have TM Keshav sir on the platform of the history enthusiast. And I feel that we are blessed to listen to such an experienced person today on our platform. uh, Thank you so much, sir, for accepting our invitation. It's a great pleasure to have you on this platform. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Pleasure is mine. And I thank
Thank you very
your
much.
institution. Please.
Yes. Thank you very much, Nidhi, for the introduction. I now request Shri T M Keshav sir to begin the lecture.
I thank you very much for having given me an opportunity on this auspicious day, Rama and Navami, wherein I am privileged to speak little what I know about Ramu Vigrahavan, Rama, the soul of the subcontinent, Rama, a character of immense strength and energy. It is known that we salute Rama as Sri Raghavam Dasharathatmajam Aprameయం Sitapatim Raghukulanvaya Ratnadipam Ajanubahum Aravinda Dadayataksham Ramam Nishachara Vinashakaram Namami. So Sri Rama has been put with an epithet Sri Rama, the most auspicious, Rama Vigrahavan, and he is Dasharathatmaja, the soul of Dasharatha, a father. He is the soul of a father. Sita Patim, there is a stress, Sita Patim. He is the husband of Sita, the goddess. Raghukula Deepam, he is the lamp for Raghu lineage. Vatatmajam, Vanarayodhamukha, Sriramadutam, Shirasanamami. Salutations. He encouraged the protection of forests and the animals therein in his sojourn. So it is Ramayana of Valmiki, the epic which is dated by archaeologists and historians to 2nd century BC, has some interesting facts. The epic Ramayana is composed of verses or shlokas in Anushtup meter. The shlokas are grouped into sargas. The sargas are grouped into kandas. Book 1 and books 7 are the Balakanda, Uttara Ramayana are later additions. Next, next please. Later additions. Balakanda has 77 chapters. Ayodhya Kanda has 119 chapters. Aranyakanda has 75 chapters. Kishkinda Kanda has 67 chapters. Sundarakanda 68 chapters. And Yuddhakanda 128 chapters. Symbolically, I have shown an ascetic pouring water to the thirsty. He is giving the knowledge, imparting the knowledge to the needy. Next, we find next we find our literature paves way, the soul of Indian history, the soul of our the subcontinent, the soul of Bharatavarsha, or its great literature. The soul of our history are the copious literature in the form of Vedas, Upanishads, Puranas, and the great epics, which are intensely socio religious and cultural in nature. Their content are voluminous and varied. They carry the very essence of human or mankind relations, irrespective of the geological, geomorphological boundary and languages. They are the essence of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Next, kindly change. Next. Now, these epics are the source of immense knowledge and energy. The philosophy of the epics are worthy of emulation, practicable, and are earthly. It is interesting to note that the literature of the country, in the form of these great nomenclature, they are worthy of emulation even today and practicable and are earthly. Each character involved therein have something to convey, to bind the society. This is the most important. It's almost 5,000 years that it is we find that this particular literature keeps on moving and gathering the younger present generation also in its fold, wherein it is simply the humanity that it teaches that binds the society even today. And each character is very well composed thought, and they have got something to convey to bind the society, and the enormous freedom each character enjoyed in their role and expression is astonishing. Take it whether it is Rama or whether it is Ravana, whether it is Sita or whether it is Hanuman, whether it is Sugriva or whether it is Vali. Each character is very well molded and they are earthly. They are very humane. So we find that these epics are even today the resource material for the entire universe, not only India. Next, Ma. Now, Ramayana of Valmiki and its multitude replications. Once we have this epic is has inspired the entire length and breadth of the country to such an extent that each state, each district, each locality, each place in different given time, it has no time scale, has multiplied itself, rewritten, very well composed. Even today, to mention, we have our Veerappa Moiliji writing a Ramayana. It is astonishing that the influence this Ramayana epic has. The story is simple about a devout son, equally devout parents, doting brother and a wife, issues for a throne, admonishing to forest life with a purpose. The story of great saints of contemporary times and their practices, abduction of the princess, the drama there, the behavior pattern of the mind, serenity of a character, an embodiment of kindness, the values of friendship, audacity of a man drunk with power, love of a brother, servitude of a pious soul, devout wife protecting herself in adverse circumstances, and upholding her righteousness in spite of strenuous circumstances taxing the victory of dharma against all odds and the of the whole fall of the individual who indulged in adharma, the whole continuing with a time scale of more than 5,000 years in the language of universe. It is not only in India, Southeast Asian countries, Europe, every country. It simply ramified, wove itself around the entire universe. That is the material content of an Indian epic. Next, please. Now, Rama, we can eulogize Rama. Let us be very simple. Rama and Krishna are such characters in our epics. The whole mankind of Bharatavarsha live and breathe them. This is not applicable to the followers of post extraneous religions like Islam and Christianity. The great souls of these religions were also under the influence of these characters because it is the righteousness, dharma, that this Indian subcontinent preached. Next. Now, Ramayana is much spoken about, written about, and inscribed about, sculptured about. Now, for us, we should know a little of the Ramayana before going into the subject actual. Putrakameshti Yaga, we know Rishishringa Muni performs with Dasharatha, the distribution of Payasa, the Ahalya Shapa Vimochana, Tatakavadha, Maricha Subaho, Damana, Yajna of Vishwamitra. It is interesting to note that these sculptural depictions have incorporated or from the walls or bhitti sculptures of the Hazara Ramachandra temple of Vijayanagara times, which is located at Hampi or the Vijayanagara metropolis. Next. Here we have Shivadhanubhanga, Valmiki presenting Rama Lakshmana to Janaka, Sita Parinaya. Next. We have in Panchavati Rama, Sita and Lakshmana. Shurpanaka appears from nowhere. Lakshmana teaches her a lesson. They, husband and wife, happen to see Maricha, the golden deer. Next. Rama tries to capture the golden deer, Maricha, and he in turn gets killed. We have later on the same in pathetic condition while Rama and Lakshmana are away. Sita is abducted by Ravana. Jatayu fights in vain to protect Sita, and his age and his damaged wings doesn't permit him. And here we have one sculpture of Ravana being fought by Jatayu. Dashakanta Ravana, here three heads are shown. And interestingly, this is a sculpture from the 8th century temple of Papanatha at Pattadakal, wherein these are the first inscribed, labeled sculptures of Ramayana found in Karnataka. To your left, nearer Ravana, it is inscribed Ravana. And to your right side, as you are seeing the screen, there is Jatayu in 7th century, 7th, 8th century characters. So here, Ramayana were narrated with labeled inscriptions, giving an audio-visual type of education right from 5th, 6th centuries EAD. We know that written or inscribed or sculptured narration of Ramayana are from Bhitargaon temples of the Gupta period, right from 3rd century AD, wherein the panels of Ramayana are seen. So, the Ramayana, it was almost like Ramayana and Mahabharata form the lungs of Indian soul. That's why you simply breathe in and breathe out. When you breathe in, when you breathe out, the word Rama comes out. Try this for my observations, whether it is wrong or right. Rama, when you breathe out Rama. You won't do it Krishna. You breathe out. When you breathe out, when your pranavayu goes out, it is Rama. Try this for a change. Next. Then we have Rama and Lakshmana. Now the picture of Hampi comes into the story, narration. Rama and Lakshmana are met by Hanuman and Sugriva. Once Hanuman tells Sugriva that there are two princes of Ayodhya, nothing to do with Vali, and they are in search of their beloved Sita. Next. Now, I am rushing through this a bit because there is a further lot to say about. Saptathala Chedana, Vali Sugriva fight, and the death of Vali. Here we have the same sculptural panel side by side in the soapstone from Hoysaleshwara temple at Halebeedu. Shows Rama and Lakshmana supported by the Vanaras and Jambavan. Shoot an arrow from behind the trees while Vali and Sugriva fight, and Vali is struck behind with an arrow. You see, the Saptatala Chedana is also shown in the same panel. Vali is struck, and here Angada is being crowned as Yuvaraja in front of Rama. Now we have the same from the Pattadakan Papanatha temple, where the upper panel shows Rama and Lakshmana with the Vanaras. At the bottom of the panel, we find Vali and Sugriva in fist fight, and Rama has shot an arrow behind once again Vali, and in the top we have an inscription Sugriva. Next, please. Now, only at Hampi we find a stucco sculptural representation. When Ramayana narration is there, the prowess of Vali is narrated by Sugriva. The carcass of Dundubi was flown through. Vali throws it away so that the drops of blood falls on the Matangashram and Vali is cursed. So that corpse was still lying there, and Rama flicks it with his toe. This is the only sculpture on the southern side of the second tala of Hazar Ramachandra temple in the Shikhara part of the Garbhagriha. This is the only sculpture. Remind you, I have not seen anywhere in other parts of Karnataka, the temples of Karnataka where Ramayana is depicted, or even for that matter, the great Kailasanatha temple at Ellora. Nowhere flicking of the body of Dundubi by Rama is not shown. This is the only extant sculptural depiction. This indicates very clearly that Kishkinda was none other than the area of Hampi and its environs. Next. Now, Samudrolanghana, Sita Darshana. Here we have small sculptural friezes of Hazarama temple showing Hanuman jumping across the ocean, and Lanka is shown in the form of a pavilion. He is receiving Chudamani from Sita after before leaving Lanka in pursuit of the news to hand over, they convey the same news to Rama. Next, Rama and Lakshmana are met by Hanuman and Sugriva, as I told you earlier. And Simolangana, Chudamani Grahana is shown. The slide is repeated. Next. Then Ashokavana. Hanuman want to know the prowess of Ravana or the army strength of Ravana. So he starts destroying Ashokavana. And here the humor is introduced in sculptural carving. He ties couple of Rakshasas with his tail and grabs couple of them and stampades a few. This is a fight at Ashokavana. This sculpture is from the Kalyana Mandapa of Vitala temple, the south western corner sculpture. This is the destruction of Ashokavana. This is from Hazar Rama temple, followed by Indrajit capturing Hanuman. Thereby the power of the Brahmastra is loosened. Here is Indrajit shown as a tall Rakshasa and Hanuman a meek little monkey. Next. Next. Now, in the court of Ravana, he shows all his might with multiple hands and dashanana, whereas when he is not given a due respectable chair, Hanuman uses his style to advise Ravana to release Sita. See, the audacity of Ravana by keeping his legs crossed is imitated by Hanuman. This sculpture on the left side is from Vitala temple, Kalyana Mandapa once again. The other two sculptures are from the Hazar Rama temple. Next. Now, Ravana, I showed him in all glory there. Now, Ravana is not an ordinary man, a greatest devotee of Shiva, Mahabrahmana, the one who knew all the verses, the one who expressed that and blessed Rama to be victorious when that auspicious puja was initiated. Here, Ravana shaking Kailasa. This is the northern porch sculpture of the Sri Virupaksha temple at Pattadakal in near Badami. Next. Now, done, Ashokavana is destroyed, Ravana is angry, Akshay Kumara is lost. So, there is a necessity of punishing the monkey, and we find the better aspect, better than this, that the tail of the monkey was lit and he puts Lanka on fire. So Lanka is destroyed, Hanuman is shown with the tail, and there the Lankini is also shown in the form of human figure. Next. Now, it is the return of Hanuman to Rama. Setubandha is necessary. So the Vanaras indulging in Setubandha and Ravana fights. Next. Here the great fall of Ravana. Sa Ravanaya Sankarudra Rudro Bhrishmayamyaha Karmukam Cheksha Paramaya Yatyastam Sharam Marma Ghatinam. Rama was advised to use Brahmastra by Matali. They ultimately, Ravana falls. Rudiraktaha sa vegena jivatanta karaha sharaha Ravanasya haran prana vishesha prana Pivesha Dharanitalam. Ravana, by the arrow of Rama, the Brahmastra, falls to the ground dead. So the Ramayana, the story of Rama, comes to a logical conclusion with the defeat of evil. Next, this led to the philosophy of Krishna later in Bhagavad Gita. Ravana, even though he was jnani, even though he was learned, he had to fall because of his immoral character of Sita Paharana and Vishayasakta Ravana. So, Jyayato Vishayan Pumsa Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha Kamat Krodho Vijayate Krodhat Bhavati Sammoha Smrti Vibramaha Smrti Bhramshat Buddhinashat Pranashyate. So, the entire philosophy of Ramayana was crystallized by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita when he simply says, these Jayato Vishayan Pumsaha. This was further simplified by Adi Shankaracharya. That is Kamakroda Lobhascha. Dehe Tishtati Taskaraha. Jnana Ratnapaharaya. Tasmat Jagrata Jagrata. Be careful, otherwise you will lose your senses, which will lead to the other, and your destruction is ensured. Next. Preamble for this. Since from the times Mahajanapadas, much earlier we find many cities, townships, or pilgrimage centers for the people of this country, and even some of them are mentioned in the above epics, reflecting their antiquity. In Karnataka, one such holiest, next, place is Pampa, Hampi, Vijayanagara. The geomorphology of the place reflects it as the place of holiest river Tungabhadra and that of Kishkinda in the Vanara kingdom, which played a vital role in the life of Ayodhya Rama, who at the direction of Kabanda, the Gandharva demon, who guides the children of Dasharatha and who come in search of Sita. Next. Every state, district, town, and village in the country has been identified as the location of a site of Ramayana happening, and copious literature in languages of different states, locality, and time, scale are bound by one element, bundle of intelligence, energy, role model of servitude, that is Hanuman. Such is the influence of this character. He himself is elevated as Rudra, Vayu, Sun, and so on. Next. Hampi, the cradle of prehistoric Tungabhadra Valley, the abode of Shivagirija, the early medieval Shaiva Kshetra, the glorious capital of medieval Vijayanagara Empire of 1336 to 1565 CE. He is identified as the ancient Kishkindha, the capital of Vali Sugriva, the Vanara kingdom, the birthplace of Hanuman, and so on. Next. Now, here I have started the page of Hampi in this fashion. Every one will salute Virupaksha, Sri Virupaksha, Pampapati at Hampi. This mask is the gift of Sri Krishnadevaraya to the Pampa Virupaksha, and it is usually worn on the face of the deity on Car Festival Day. And the coins that you see lining are the coins issued by Krishnadevaraya in 1513 CE to commemorate his victory over Kalinga, and they are known as Venkatavarahas, as there is the figure of Srinivasa, Balaji of Tirupati. And behind this coin, we have the script in Devanagari script, we have the name of Sri Krishna Devaraya as Sri Krishna Raya. Next, Panchavati Sitapaharana. At Panchavati, the pristine atmosphere is stirred by the episode of Sitaparana by the demon of Lanka, Ravana. While he abducts her, Jatayu fights to save her, being the friend of Dasharatha. However, Ravana slays the aged bird and moves away. That place is our Jatinga Rameshwara in Chitradurga district. Next. Mayamruga, Sitapaharana, Jatayu, Kabanda, Kishkinda. Now Rama Sita guarded by Lakshmana, the enticing golden deer, Sita gestures Rama. Rama tries to capture the deer. Rama kills Maricha. Next. Post Sitaparana, Rama and Lakshmana happen to meet Jatayu midway and learn from him about the abduction of Sita. Such visual narration about Ramayana is found all over in India and especially in Karnataka right from the times of Chalukyas of Badavi at Virupaksha Papanatha Temple, Pattakal, C 7 to 8 CE, Kailasanatha Temple, Rashtrakuta Venture, Ellora 754 CE, most of the Hoysala ornate temples, 11th to 14th century. This indicates the continuous familiarity and popularity of the epic Ramayana. Next, the depiction of Ramayana, especially of the part of Kishkinda Kanda, Sundarakanda, Yuddhakanda, and the Uttarakanda, all get it depicted at Vijayanagara Hampi. The obvious reason being the familiarity of the epic on one hand and the locality itself is Kishkinda. If it is so, what is the tradition that goes around this part of the country? The lake at Hanumanahalli near Anjanadri is shown as Pampa Sarovar. It is a large water body, much altered now, and previously a rectangularly configured lake during the Vijayanagara period to facilitate the pilgrims. Now, recent identification by me shows that Chakratirtha to the north of Matanga Parvata is the Pampa Saras, and the entire Tungabhadra river itself is Pampa Saras. Next. ह्रियमाणाति वैदेहिकाञ्चन्नाथमपश्यति ददर्श गिरिशृङ्गस्तान् पञ्चवानरपुङ्गवान् तेषां मध्ये विशालाक्षि कौशेयं कानकाप्रभम् उत्तरीयं वरारोह शभान्याभरणानि च. It is indirect reference in Ramayana about the Rishyamukha for the first time. For us, of the Kishkinda, is obtained when in the Aranyakanda itself we come to know that Vaidehi, while she was being abducted, she happens to see a group of five monkeys seated on top of a hillock. And Tesham Madhye Vishalakshi Kaushayam Kanaka Praham Uttariyam Vararoha. She ties the jewels in Uttariya and throws Vanarapungava, Pancha Vanarapungavan, Tesham Madhye Vishalakshi. So she throws the jewelry. It is in Aranyakanda, the Pancha Sargaha, page 339, Aranyakanda. Now, Vishalakshi Sita happens to see a group of five monkeys and throws the jewelry. Next. Next, please. Vikroshanti tata sitam dudurshava nararshava sa cha pampam atikramya lanka bhimukam mukapurim. So Ravana travels towards south of Pampa, that is Tungabhadra river, towards Lanka, that is once again referred to for us in Ramayana. And we have Ravana virtually flies above the cave of Sugriva towards south, towards Lanka. This matches well with the identification of the cave of Sugriva and the hillock to the east of this cave as Rishyamukha nearby is a small tank even today identified and described as Sita Konda. So some of the guides, some of the people have written that the hillock, range of hillocks to the north of Chakratirtha is Rishyamukha, which is erroneous. Next, Jatayu, Rama and Lakshmana are informed about the demon Ravana abducting Sita by Jatayu, who is gravely injured and which is we know about the story, and they meet Kabanda. Next, Rama encounters Kabanda, the cursed demon, and reference to Rishyamukha. श्रूयतां राम वृक्ष वक्ष्यामि सुग्रीवो नाम वानरः रात्रा निरस्तः क्रुद्धेन वालिना शक्रसूनुना ऋष्यमूके गिरिवरे पंपा पर्यंत शोभिते दिवसस्त्यात्मवान् वीरश्चतुर्भिः सह वानरैः. At the behest of demon Kabanda, the brother Dio will bury Kabanda alive so that he gains a vision to learn more about the abduction of Sita. The demon attains divinehood and reveals about Ravana having abducted Sita and directs them to proceed westwards to befriend Sugriva, a Vanara, who would help him in search of Sita. He says this, Shruyatam Rama, listen Rama, Vakshami Sugrivo Nama Vanaraha, Bratra Nirastha Kurdhena Valina. Vali had gone wild over Sugriva, so he had to run away to Rishyamukha Girivare, which is on the banks of Pampa Paryanta Shobhite, on the banks of Tungabhadra. So he go to this particular person, Sugriva, he will protect you, he will befriend you, and everything good happens to you. It's in Aranyakanda, Valmiki Ramayana. Next. ततस्तद्राम पंपायास्तीरमाश्रित्य पश्चिमम् आश्रमस्थानमतुलं गुह्यं काकुत्स्थं पश्यसि न तत्र क्रमितुं नागा शक्नुवन्ति तमाश्रमम् विविधास्तत्र वै नागा वनेस्तस्मितंश्च पर्वते ऋषेस्तत्र मतङ्गस्य विरानात् तच्च काननम् मतङ्गवनमित्येव विश्रुतं रघुनन्दन. Aranyakanda, Shloka 1 to 17, give us the description of how Rama approached Pampa Tira, moving westward as per the advice of Kabanda. And he, while coming down, he happens to see the Matanga hillock also. And as directed by Kabanda, Rama and Lakshmana proceed towards west and reach the sacred hermitage of Shabari on the bank of Matangashrama. Rishyamukascha Pampaya Parastat Puchitadramaha. Kabanda gives accurate description of Rishyamukha hillock as described, a hillock of flowering trees on the banks of Pampa Saras, that is Chakratirtha. Next. The path at Hampi. If Rama and Lakshmana have followed the instruction of Kabanda towards Pampa Sarovar, my couple of friends like Dr. Arani, Siddhanagaudar have been watching this, and perhaps they will immediately grasp what I am saying. And they are traveling westwards. They have entered into the domains of Karnataka following the river Krishna, its tributary Tungabhadra, encircled Malyavanta hillock, passed the valley of the same, and have entered into the limits of Matangashram through the valley at Talarighatta Krishna temple. As recorded in Aranyakanda, Rama has rested, freshened himself at Kannadi Kere, then known as Matanga Saras, rightly named so because of its proximity to to Matanga Parvata. So, Shloka 14, Sarga 75, page 474, Aranyakanda, we get this description, and we are following the description. If we follow the description, this is the only pathway Rama and Lakshmana could have taken to reach Pampa Saras. Next. Tadvanam Chaiva Sarasas. So here in Shloka, we find there is Pampam Shitavarinidhim Shubham. Rama, while after passing through the Matangashram, that is Achyuta Bazar, happens to see Pampam Shitavarinidhim, the cold water of immense taste and freshness. Next. This is the Matangashram. Two views are there. The temple below the hillock is Achyutaraya temple or Tiruvengadanatha temple. The top is the Matanga Parvata. The Matanga Parvata on its top has a temple of Vijayanagara times of Veerabhadra. Two different views. One view is from northeast, one view is from south. Next. And what is Pampa Sarovara? What is Pampa Saras? What the contents? Gritapindopamana Stulam Stan Vijan Dakshayishyastara Rohitan Vakratundascha Nadamiinanscha Ragava. See, so much familiar Tabanda was about Kishkinda, its territory, and the river, and the different types of flora and fauna. He even goes to the extent of telling the detailed description of the Pampa Saras and the varied fishes worthy of consumption, like Rohitan, Vakratandascha, Nadaminanscha Raghava. So, different fishes for consumption is also quoted by Kabanda in Aranyakanda. Next. Now, Hanuman encounters the brothers on the banks of Pampa. Parakramau, Rajarshi Deva Pratimau, Parakramau, Velaras, Rajarshi, looking like Rajarishis, Deva Pratimau, well sculpted, Tapasau, looking like mendicants, Sam Sahita Vratau, Desham, Katamimam Praptau, Bhavantau, Varavarninau, Trasayantau, Murga Ganana, Na Yashncha Vanacharinaha. Who are these Vanacharis? Who are going around this place? That is the doubt that arises in the minds of Sugriva. Pampa, Tiruruhan, Vrikshan, Bhikshamanav, Samantataha, Imam Nadim, Shubhajalam, Shobhayantau, Tapasvinau. Hanuman is sent by Sugriva. Look at these two people, they must have come to kill me. So who are these people? Archers, tapasis, who are bent going around on the banks of river Tungabhadra, Pampa, Saras, and Pampa Tiraruhan Vrikshan Vikshamanav Samantata. Imam Nadim Shubhajalam. Hanumanta himself says, Anjaneya himself says, who are you, the great people, who are going around the banks of river Tungabhadra? Imam Nadim, he himself calls Pampa Saras as Nadi, as river. So it is not a lake, it is river Tungabhadra. Next. So here, this mellifluous river flowing here has received a great charm with your arrival. O mendicants, who are you? That's how Hanuman addresses the brothers, indicating Pampa Saras is river. Earlier he had said, Imam Nadim Shubhajalam Shobhayantvav Tapasvinau. Who are you people who are coming here on the banks of this river? Next. Now, there is this hillock, Rishyamuka. Rishyamuka iti vikhyataha punyai pushpita padapaha asyastiret puroktaha parvato dhatu manditaha Rishyamuka iti khyataha punyai pushpita padapaha. No one other than Rama himself describes Rishyamuka. Rishyamuka iti khyatah punyai pushpita padapaha. Lakshmana, look to the east of this particular Pampa Saras is the hillock Rishyamuka. Rishyamuka iti vikhyata punyai. So this is with Dhatu Mandita, which is full of minerals. That's how Rama identifies this particular Rishyamukha. Next, Matanga, Kodandarama, Pampasaras from Rishyamukha. These all from I have taken this photograph standing on Rishyamukha Hillock, wherein in front in the foreground is Achyuta Bazar, and that lake, huge lake is that Lokapavani of Achyutaraya temple. And the right side corner after the hillocks, there is greenish water, that is Tungabhadra river, that is your Pampasaras. Right in the extreme end is a small temple visible, that is Kodandarama temple. That is where it is said that Hanuman met with Rama and Lakshmana. This hillock in front of you is the northern extension of the Matangashram, wherein the seven mendicants, Sapta Janaha, seven rishis, performed austerities by immersing themselves in the waters of Pampa, because it is only here Tungabhadra is fairly deep and it allows people to immerse themselves into the water for a fairly long time. And recently, a scientist of repute, Srinivas, has clearly analyzed the content of river Tungabhadra at Pampa Saras, this Chakratirtha, wherein the oxygen content is greater here than elsewhere. Next, this description above so far can be attributed to the area of Kodandarama temple, Chakratirtha, area of Achyutaraya temple, Matanga ashram, and the Sugriva cave and the Sita Konda. Some of them are as per the description given by Ramachandra himself. It is but natural that there are geomorphological changes due to the absence of flora and fauna of that time. The Matangashram, Pampa, Saras, Rishyamukha hillock get automatically identified. Next, Rama's observation of the environs of Pampasas. Rama shows Lakshmana the hill of Rishyamukha by telling Asyas tire tu purvoktah parvato dhatu manditaha. The eastern hillock of Pampa Saras is full of minerals, that is Rishyamukha. Saumitre Pashya Pampaya Dakshine Girisanoni. While identifying Matanga Parvata, he addresses Saumitre Pashya Pampaya Dakshine Girisanoni. Look to the south of Pampa, the hillock is there, which is Matanga. And he also clearly shows a Karnikara flower giving tree at the hillock. So it is to be known how meticulously Valmiki has composed this Kishkinda Kanda also, and how he has made the characters to involve themselves in the geomorphological grandeur of the place. Next. So if we go, we assume that if Rishyamukha is located near Chakratirtha to the east and also to the east of Varaha temple, it is definitely to the east of Matangashram. On the western slopes of this Rishyamukha is the cave of Sugriva. If as per the guide, some of the guides say that Rishyamukha is the towards the north of Chakratirtha, then Rama himself would have said, Pashya Lakshmana, Pashya Uttaroktam, towards the north is Rishyamukha. So the identification of by the guides nowadays and some of the scholars earlier, they are not correct and it is not Rishyamukha. In Rishyamukha, they are part of the Kishkinda and Basavashringa, which I will be narrating later. Next, Sugriva proceeds to the nearest Matangashram when he sights Rama and Lakshmana. That's what is written in Ramayana. Matangashrama is the hillock located to the southwest of the Chitraya temple, whereas the Rishamuka is the hill located towards the east and northeast of Achyutaraya temple. So it is quite clear that the pathway of Achyutaraya temple was the pathway treaded by Rama also. After sighting the Vanara, citing Rama and Lakshmana, Vanara Sugriva runs to Matangashram, which is very close by. That he can do. If Rishamuka were towards the north of Chakratirtha, Sugriva had to jump across the river Chakratirtha and come down to Matangashram, which is not proper or correct as per the descriptions in Ramayana. Next. श्रूयतां राम वक्ष्यामि सुग्रीवो नाम वानरः भ्रात्रा निरस्तकृतेन. I had told you earlier that getting wild, Wali had driven him away. So the description of here of Rishamuka is towards the east of Pampa. Next. Rama tasya tu shailasya mahati shobhate guha shilapi dhana kakustam dukkachasya praveshuna tasya guhaya pragbhare mahan शीतोदको हृदः फलमूलान्वितो रम्यो नाना मृग समावृतः तस्यां वसाति सुग्रीवस्तः चतुर्भिः सह वानरैः कादाचिच्छिखरे तस्य पर्वतस्य वतिष्ठे. Here we find that Sugriva cave is shown in the foreground in the photograph, and the hill where you are observing, that is the Rishabhuka, and to the west of you is the Sugriva cave. Sugriva resides in the cave, and to its east at the entrance is a cold water pond. Towards the extreme right side there is a depression you can see, that is to the east of Sugriva cave, and it has many fruit giving trees. This description is given by Kabanda to Rama while giving the description of the location of Sugriva. Actually, Kabanda says, Rama tasyatu shailasya mahati shobhate guha. So, using the curse of Matanga, Sugriva settled at Rishamuka. So, curse to Vali. Next. Sugriva is usually in sculpture shown with all the drapery, crown, and all ornamentation, with the right curved tail, majestically standing with folded hands. Whereas Hanuman is different. He is shown with the Shankachakra above his head. He has a Kaupina. He has. So here we should note that Hanuman, it is the place of Hanuman. We find Hanuman from single Kaupinadari Bala Hanuman to Yantrodharaka Anjaneya. Next. Sugriva addressing Rama about a woman being abducted by a demon and flying over Rishimuka, and the lady throwing down her jewelry tied in a uttariya. That is what Sugriva says. While I myself and my four Vanara Sahacharas was sitting on top of Rishimuka. Hriyamana Maya Drishtva Rakshasa Krura Karmana, a demon of Krura Karmas. क्रोशन्ति राम रामेति लक्ष्मणेति च विस्मरः स्फुरन्ति रावणस्यांके पनगेन्द्र वधू प्रियथा, carrying away a lady who was simply crying out Rama Rameti Lakshmaneti. So that's how Atmana Panchamam Mamhi Drishtva Shailatate Stitam Uttariyantaya Tyaktam Shubhanyabharanaya Tahnya Sma Bhigrahirtani Nita Jana Ragavaha. The language used by Rama Valmiki of addressing every character is simply marvelous. And अनयस्वसखे शीघ्रं राघव प्रियकाम्यया उत्तरीयं गृहीत्वा तु शुभान्याधारणानि च. I will get thee and present you before the sacred jewelry tied down in Uttariya. Next, in recent article by me, I have found that there is a sculpture of Jagannatha at Rishyamukha Hillock, which clearly identifies the Hillock Rishyamukha, is located to the east of Matangashram, and the Jaina Narasimha temple at the Sugriva cave is located to the west of Rishyamukha Hillock. Next, the range of hillocks. Now we will come to Kishkinda, because it is the most important aspect of the subject. Kishkinda, the capital of Vanaras. The range of hillocks to the north of river Tungabhadra at Virupapuragadda, Basavashringa, Tarabetta, Anjanadri, and the range of hillocks at Anegundi, including a small, highly modernized Pampasaras lake, come under Kishkinda. Durgam Nanavyala Mrgaitam. Kishkinda is a Durga. Nanavyala Mrgaitam has different types of animals in it. Next, was Kishkinda a huge cave? That questions arise when we study further the Kishkinda Kanda. Atah prati samadhisto Lakshmanaha Paravirah Praveshesha Guhavamahyam Kishkindanam Ramaschant. Shloka 1 of Sarga 33 of Kishkinda Kanda refers, after receiving permission from Angada to enter Kishkinda, the most beautiful Kishkinda cave, Lakshmana entered to convey the message of Rama. It was huge with many gardens, multi-storied buildings and temples, etc. These referred to might have been added later as Prakshipta to give Kishkinda a status of a huge city. There are many huge caves in the granite hillocks of Anegundi area, one of which could be Kishkinda. Next, there are series of residences are mentioned. This was quite interesting for me because there is one place called Chikrampur near to Anjanadri Hillock, wherein Angadasya Guham Ramyam Maindasya Dvividasya cha Gavayasya Gavakshasya Gajasya Sharavasya cha, like Vijinmalayascha Sampate, even the name of our Vanara, our Bhalluka, Veera, Jambavanta also comes, wherein couple of Vanara warriors, the residences of that was aligned around a street, major street. So if you study the geomorphology of Chikrampura rock shelters, there is a central glade looking like a pathway, and around this glade are many rock shelters which are painted. So quite interestingly, the same features of the rock shelters around the central pathway is painted in the roof ceiling of one of the caves, which has been identified by Dr. Sundara as megalithic burial representation. However, I deferred him politely, telling that this should be the ancient map of the rock shelters showing the entrance passage and with a central glade. The shloka of Ramayana clearly says that in around a central pathway, around the residences of Angada, Mainda, Dvivida, Virabho, like that. So it tallies clearly with. So the Mainda, Dvivida, Gava, Gavaksha, Gaja, Sharabha, Vijinmali, Sampati, Shurasena, Suretra, Suptala, so on and so forth. So we're close to identifying the locality of Ramayana at Anegundi. Next, many sites in Anegundi, Tarabetta, It's quite interesting. Many sites in the Anegundi area are identified as Tara Betta, location of Saptatala Chedana, cremation area of Vali Kashta, and so on. Tara Betta was part of Kishkinda, as seen in the description of Tara coming out of a typographical error, don't mind that, coming out of a cave from a hillock, Tara Sushrava Valinam, Saputra Priyam, Shrutva Vadham, Bhartraho, Sudaranam, Nishpapeta, Bhrushamam, Trastamag Sugrivaha, Girigahvara. So she comes out of Girigahvara, a cave. So it is quite interesting to know that Tara, many hillocks are named after the women of Ramayana, even today at that particular Tara Betta, the residence of Tara, Anjanadri, the residence of Anjana. So women should not crink or veil that women were not given importance. Right from the times of Ramayana, women were given importance. Even the houses were named after them. Even now we name our houses after our mother or after our wives. Father is left out poorly. Next, a group of prehistoric painted rock shelters in the swarm of dike hillocks with narrow fertile valleys to the north of the river Tungabhadra is your Kishkinda. However, the most popular hillock is Anjanadri, the birthplace of Hanuman. Next, descriptively surrounded by many villages like Hanumanahalli, etc., the hillock is silhouette shows huge face of a monkey, Hanuman. The hillock across the river Tungabhadra Pampa is named as the birthplace of Hanuman and is slightly to the north west of Tara Betta, the abode of Tara. The bear Jambavanta eulogizes Hanuman to enthuse him to rise and cross the ocean and says, "You were born and brought up in the caves of Kishkinda. Guhyam Tvam Mahabaho Parjagne Klavagarshambham Abhitatim Tata Suryam." Bala, you were born in the caves of Kishkinda, and you were as soon as you were born, looking at sun, Surya, thinking him to be a fruit, you had jumped from the cave. That's what Jambavanta says. Nowadays, in the Tirupati, some of the scholars have claimed that there is the Anjanadri because there is an Anjanadri. That particular Anjana had delivered the baby Hanuman at Tirupati, and the child grew itself into Hanuman in Karnataka. This issue goes to thin air the moment these identifications are made absolutely clear, may have made absolutely clear. What they had referred was from the Bhavishottara Purana, a narration that Anjana Devi requested Matanga Muni about an issue to her, and he advised her to go to Narasimha Betta at Tirupati to perform austerities, and so that she will get a very powerful son. Anjana might have gone to the Tirupati, performed austerities for 12 years, a place where many people stay for more than 5 years. It is identified as theirs. So she might have come back and delivered the goods here. So Hanuman essentially is a child of Karnataka. Next, Sugriva moves in haste to Matangashram to hide until status of Rama and Lakshmana are known. Kishkinda Kanda, it is I have already told you. Next, uh, Malyavanta. Now we are going to Malyavanta. Basavashringa is the Kishkinda. You can see the sharp horn-like shikharas of the a hillock called Basavashringa. Next, Malyavanta, Prasaranagiri. In Ramayana, it is called Prasaranagiri. Abhishekte to Sugrive Pravishita. There is the shloka which says, particularly Rama, after the crowning of uh, Sugriva After seeing that Sugriva enters Pravishishte Vanare Guham, after he enters after Abhisheka, Pattabhisheka, he comes down to Prasavarna Giri. He comes to Prasavarna Giri. It is a known fact that such important places, the Vijayanagara rulers have built shrines and temples. The Raghunatha Swami temple at Malyavanta Hillak, towards the easternmost end of the metropolis, is built eulogizing a rock shelter, a rivulet flowing at the east as referred by Rama as the river in this 27th Sarga. Next, many localities, thus we find many localities at Hampi and Anegundi are identified with the localities of Kishkinda of Valmiki Ramayana. There are many temples attributed to Rama and Hanuman, a large number in comparison to the other places. They are Malyavanta Raghunatha, Rama Vithala, Kodandarama, Hazara Rama, Pattabhirama, Anjanadri, HPC Hanuman, Hanuman of Madhva temple, Yantrodharaka Hanuman, many a monolithic statues of Hanumanta, many a villages in the name of Rama and Hanuman. Next. Here is the Papanatha temple, Pattakal in Karnataka, which for the first time, along with Virupaksha temple, has the episodes of Ramayana sculpted all around and also labeled. Next. Here is this Hazara Ramachandra temple, known for thousand Ramas. Hazara, thousand Rama, thousand Rama temple at Vijayanagara metropolis in the citadel area. Next. This is the wall portion from where the story of Ramayana is narrated at Hazara Ramachandra temple. Next. Pictographic archaeological histories of around 3rd century AD. Here is the Saptasala Chedana of Vaisaleshwara temple of Vaisala period of 1121 AD. Next. Rama, the embodiment of virtues of emulations, highlighted by Ravana, a Mahabrahmana. Because of Ravana, Rama gets highlighted. Because of Rama, Ravana gets highlighted. The soul of this country. Sri Raghavam Dasharathatmajam Aprameyam Sitapatim Raghukulanmaya Ratnadipam Ajanubahum Aravinda Dalayitaksham Ramam Yashashara Vinashakaram Namami. He is Pratasmaraniya. He is the only person who is eulogized, who is contemporarily eulogized as Kausalya Suprajarama. Woman is given importance. Kausalya Suprajarama Purva Sandhya Pravartate Uttishta Narashardula Kartavyam Daivamanikam. This is the lullaby told by our mothers, grandmothers, great grandmothers while they used to wake us up in the morning. Kausalya Suprajarama. Now our younger generation rise to the tune of Beatles or Hodimaga, Hodimaga, Hodimaga. Next. Abhivadaye. Now it is, I have to introduce myself. Abhivadaye, Angirsa, Paurkutsa, Trasada Seva, Trayarsheya, Pravaranvita, Shatamarshana Gotrodbhavasya, Apastamba Sutraha, Yajushakadhyayai, Shri Keshava Sharmanam, Aham Asmin Abhivadaye. Next. Thank you. With love and regards to all who have patronized this lecture and participated. Have a desire to be blessed by the elders and bless the youngsters. Thank you. Tell me.
Thank you so much, sir. It was an extremely enlightening lecture because in these days, even though there are archaeological studies of historical monuments, and many times it happens that nowadays students are going around and looking at temples and recording the details of the temples, but none of them are committed enough to view the temples in the context of the scriptures. The study of archaeological monuments is happening alone without any context. So this particular lecture was a very exemplary lecture in how we have to study monuments, because they have been created, the monuments have been created based on the scriptures, based on the shlokas of the great epics. And I think it is important to understand, it is important to know these shlokas also, in which have been depicted on the walls of our beautiful temples of the past. So thank you very much, sir. I request the audience members, if anybody has any questions, you can kindly put them in the comment section, and uh, we have we will take only one or two questions, because we have limitations of time.
Sir, I have a question.
Please.
Sir, as we get to know that only the names of kings who patronized these temples in any dynasty, not only Vijayanagara, as particularly you have mentioned about the Vijayanagara dynasty's temples. I'll stick my scope of the question only to Vijayanagara. The workers or the main architect of the temple, were they aware of the stories, or was there any priest who was dictating them the stories to be made on the walls of the temple? What was the system, sir? Because we don't get the exact information about architects of these temples. Only we get to know that Krishna Devaraya constructed this temple, or Harihara constructed this temple. Just the name of the king we get to know. So that's why, sir, I wanted to know that whether these
See,
architects were aware of it.
my dear child, the art and architecture of our country is intensely religious, subjective, and right from the Vedic times, we have multifaceted architectural manifestation being conceived, constructed, described, and spoken about, incorporating all the contemporary social elements. And as such, without knowing Nidhi Katti, I cannot speak or talk about Nidhi Katti. It is as simple as that. So, without knowing how Krishna looked, without knowing the description of Rama, without knowing how a Vishnu looked, or what is the physical attributes, we might have imitated human figureology for these depiction of various gods and goddesses. However, the concept of depicting them in human form is to show that these powers of immense nature are akin to us, because it is out of our mind. It is the mind that has created. It is the mind that thinks of a thing, a mind that puts a frame. It is like ocean. There are many a waves that arise in the mind, which hit the bank, which reaches a goal, which is clearly described, which is clearly conceived, which is expressed, whereas some of the waves that are created. For example, the popularity of the sculptural depictions of some of the goddesses that have been introduced in Indian art and architecture, they have become de facto, because Shiva in the simplest linga form gets continued. The story or the Krishna or Vishnu, they get very much closely related to us. So they are in human form, or anything that is said. So it gets easily connected to us, because in physical form they are like us. The story of a tortoise, quite interesting. So we get the Kurma Avatara. They made permutation combination right from Kurmavatara down to Vamana Trivikrama. They went on making experiments wherein even the Narasimha aspect, the Varaha aspect, all the permutation combinations were tried, and later on they settled down. Vamana is dwarfish that cannot sustain in the society. Trivikrama is too big. Such type of genetic mutations are not necessary. So normal figures, normal human beings, normal features are necessary. That's how Rama and Krishna come into the vogue, and it is the simplest form. And it is this experimentation went on right from Indus Valley civilization times. If you take it archaeologically, however, nature, beyond nature, no one is a better artist or architect or a composer. That's why we worship nature. That's why we are sustaining. ಪ್ರಕೃತಿಯನ್ನು ನಾವು ಪೂಜೆ ಮಾಡುವುದರಿಂದ, ಪ್ರಕೃತಿಯ ಅಂಶಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಪೂಜೆ ಮಾಡುವುದರಿಂದ ಇವತ್ತಿನವರೆಗೂ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಸಸ್ಟೈನ್, ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ಸಸ್ಟೈನ್. That's why our culture, our religion, our expressions are still continuing, whereas the expressions of European countries have become museum pieces. The explanation that Indian ideology can give you about their culture and religion, the others cannot give. When the others cannot give, they use other modes. They use violence. They use forcible expressions. That is not necessary for our country or human race. Violence is not the ultimate result goal, isn't it? I can go on talking to you. You will get tired.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank
There's a
you.
question in the comment section.
Sure. Yeah.
Dr. H.M. Sidangauda sir has posted a question.
Hmm.
Was Ramayana the driving force behind choosing the site of Hampi as their capital by the Vijayanagara kings?
My friend, Dr. Sir, see, the selection of the site was already a popular site, a Shaiva center. See, it is, we know and you know very well, nature, beyond nature, we do not see any other thing. So, any force that protects the nature, as we see in Ramayana, Rama coming down to various forests throughout the country, he entered that place. Now, the sanctification of the place by the footprints of Rama, the sanctification of that place by the presence. It is like a leader coming to a place and just talking to, enthusing his few people to oblige him. Like that, Rama, when he visited, he was a popular figure already by then. By destruction of Wali, also his name, his popularity grew. And naturally, by his act of dharma, the seed of dharma, righteousness, was sowed in that place, which is a better place, which is sanctified the presence by the presence of Hanuman, that is Rudra. Hanuman is Rudra. Rudra is Shiva. Shiva is Pampapati. So naturally, that is a better the ambience. What you have said is correct. The ambience of the place made to build a Hindu empire, to ward off the evils. Of course, we were successful. Vijayanagara people were successful in doing that. Their architectural manifestation, their expressions, they speak volumes of this. However, because of a few mindless people, we lost it. Otherwise, we have not seen enough of Hampi, sir. Hampi is still buried. The thoughts of Hampi are still buried. We do not know when Yellama will bless us for you and me for further research at Hampi. and it is the younger generation who has to take up. Alas, some of them, they are just going for a PhD, obtain their PhD, go get into the slot of a lecturer or a professor, get into a salary scale of 1 lakh and above. ನಾವು ನೀವು 12 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ದಿನಗೂಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ಸರ್, ತಲೆನ ಕಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಚಚ್ಕೊಂಡ್ವಿ ಹಂಪಿನಲ್ಲಿ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಈ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಬಂತು. ಈಗಿನ ಕಾಲದ ಜನ AC ರೂಮ್ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ? ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ದೇಶ ಸುತ್ತು ಕೋಶ ಓದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು. ಕ್ಷಮಿಸಿ, ಬೈಬೇಡಿ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್.
No, sir, you're right. Definitely. It is our responsibility as a younger generation now. You have already created enough awareness for us, but it is up to us whether we take that awareness, whether we use it for the better of ourselves and our society, and how we contribute to our field. Because getting a job and getting enough salary is not our ultimate goal. It should never be our ultimate goal, in fact. There's a lot to
Well
research.
said.
There's a lot to, yes, sir. Definitely, there is always scope for what we can say, uh, to see again, to revise our written history and to create, not recreate, reconstruct the history that has already been written. There are things that have been left out, there are gaps, and we have to fill it as a younger
Ar-
researchers. It's our duty. Yes, sir.
archaeologists should be earthly. They are to be grounded. The more the archaeologists are grounded and not heavenly, they will not learn anything about their culture and their tradition. That's why Agatha Christie, people like Agatha Christie, likes archaeologists because they never come home and disturb them. The women are very happy if they are married to archaeologists because that old man gets lost in wilderness and excavation and earth. So we are more earthly. Nowadays, short circuiting, each scholar nowadays is bent upon short circuiting himself, and he should stay away from such ventures unless without studying, without having contemporary literature with him for copious reasons of reference. He should not venture into haphazard, hazy interpretations which will not, which will be wasteful exercise. This is very well reflected. With great enthusiasm, the Department of Archaeology, the Department of Archaeology of Government of Karnataka started the study of Vijayanagara Adhyayana. Some enthusiastic professors and lecturers introduced their students to write papers and about this history research part of the Vijayanagara history, wherein post Vijayanagara concepts thoughts were also introduced, and thereby now the study of Vijayanagara history by the government of Karnataka is wasted because the whole Vijayanagara they did not think of. They thought Vijayanagara empire. They did not thought of Vijayanagara township, Vijayanagara the capital metropolis. The initiation was for capital metropolis. Now it has become post Vijayanagara, Vijayanagarottara, a few hero stones, a few sculptures brought from elsewhere and reported as the history of Vijayanagara, where your main purpose is wasted. Tell me.
Yes, thank you, sir. There's another question here by Shri Yadava Raghu. Sir, are there any depictions or rock art, that is petroglyphs, related to Ramayana in the prehistoric sites that you have mentioned before?
See the prehistoric sites at Anegundi, especially the rock shelters, have paintings which could be of that particular period or slightly earlier. And also, we have many sites. See, the sites are very, very convenient for agro-pastoral growth of agro-pastoral community in that region. So Ramayana, the descriptions that we get in Ramayana itself is indicative that very well cultivated agricultural fields were there in the Kishkinda, gardens were there, forests were there. Kishkinda is not to be taken as one particular restricted locality. Many huge rock shelters with huge caves. When I was young, way back in 1977, when you people were not born at all, I have gone into Aragundi area and into the many caves. Only for the fear of darkness and wild animals, sometimes I have returned back. Otherwise, I have been successful in going around these caves, studying the rock paintings. And Neolithic Chalcolithic culture. See, we get Mesolithic evidences of Mesolithic period. We get evidences of Upper Paleolithic period. We have the evidences of Neolithic, Neo-Chalcolithic. Chikrampur is one such site, wherein the open valley system, the glades, that huge mounds are yet to be explored, excavated, and studied. It is but natural that this, if we excavate, if we explore further, we will definitely get evidences of we get petroglyphs of Ramayana time also. The paintings that you see at present, we are dating as archaeologists of to the Neolithic Chalcolithic period. That would be erroneous. It could be of the times of Ramayana. It could be of the times of 5,000 years before present. However, what we follow the Westerners for dating our culture, that is one of the worst thing that we have done so far, and teaching the same to younger generation. And we are not going beyond Maurya, Ashoka. We don't go beyond Brahmi. Where we are. Actually, if you study the Namaka and Chamaka of Rudra, wherein the description of Shiva, what is the description of Shiva given in the Rudra, Namaka and Chamaka? You are a person dwelling in hill. You are a person dwelling on the banks of river. You are a hunter. You are a gatherer. You are a tree dweller. You are a agriculturist. These are the descriptions that is you are the one who grows wheat. You are the one who grows whom we are addressing to. We are addressing to a person who is a village headman as Shiva, the leader. Pashunam Patihi. Have we understood? We have tried to read. We are reading Rudra, Namaka, Chamaka, folding our hands and offering prayers. What is that behind it? What is it behind things that being? Arey man, Godhumashtame, Masashtame, Tilashtame, Mudgarashtame, you name the Karans after him? Is it necessary? But it is of Taittiriya Samhita. What is the date we have given? Only of recent we have given the date of 10,000 years before present time Taittiriya Samhita. In the Indo-Gangetic Valley, we have rice being grown 8,000 years before. Could we not place Ramayana to that time? Could we not place these rock shelters and their paintings to that 8,000 years before present? We are taking carbon dating. We are dating thermoluminescent dating. Are we sure that we have correctly experimented and dated them? Why we are not taking our Indian scriptures to earliest times? We boast we have a history of 5,000 years. Are we buttressing them? Are we supporting them properly? No. So sir, study well. अरे भाई जिंदगी तो हमारा गुजर गया, इतना तो हम किए. See, from Taittiriya Samhita, from there you have the earliest Shivalinga in Andhra Pradesh, Gudimallam. What is the date we are giving? We are just giving 3rd century BC. Is it justified? Because whatever the description of Shiva is there in Rudra and Namaka, the same pattern, the sculpture of Gudimallam Shivalinga is there. They have followed the scripture. So, sir, my anger is justified. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much, sir. I think that was the last question of this session. And I would like to read out some of the congratulatory messages. Siddhan Gaudar sir has written, congratulations, Shri T M Keshava sir. And he has
Thank you.
also thanked you for this enlightening lecture. Uh, Professor Usha Devi ma'am from Bangalore University has also written congrats for organizing relevant webinar. Of course, and Shri Yadava Raghu sir has written thanks to the organizers for selecting the right topic, as well as thank you, sir, for enlightening delivery. Also, Dr. S.K. Aruni sir had joined us today. He has also congratulated you. Professor
Okay.
Chidanand Dhavaleshwar sir has also congratulated the entire team. And I think it was a very successful lecture so far. We have learned a lot of facts as well as what we have to do in the future from you, sir. Thank you very much for the inspiration. We have come to the end of this lecture, and I request Ms. Nidhi Katti to kindly propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Manali. Uh, Today, on the occasion of Ram Navami, it was a very uh, good lecture to be heard, because we have many times visited the Vijayanagara temples, Pattadakalu temples, but we have not observed these sculptures in depth. Many students. So thank you so much, sir, for accepting our invitation and for enlightening us with your thoughtful knowledge and your experience. That is very important for us and very precious for us. Thank you so much, sir. And please keep supporting us, sir, in future. Also, we need your guidance and blessings for our history enthusiasts organization. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us on this occasion.
Pleasure is mine. Come out with new thoughts, new concepts, and I'll try to do my best to make you to understand the rich cultural heritage of my country.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And I also thank co-host of this session and president of the History Enthusiasts Organization, Miss Manali Momaya, for being part of this conference session. Thank you so much. And I also thank all the audience who joined us through this lecture. Please keep supporting us. And if you like this video and if you feel it as productive, share it with your friends, colleagues, students. Subscribe to our channel if you have not yet done. Thank you so much. And stay tuned for our next lecture. Soon we will come up with some new ideas. Thank you so much.
And thanks to
Pleasure is
Nidhi
mine.
also. Yes, thanks to Nidhi also. Thank you very much. We are signing off. Have a nice day.
Yes, thank you.